I call the October 13th, 2025 City of Mexico meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Audrain County Public Health Board, do you need to do a roll call?
We do. We need to have a motion to call the meeting.
You're not public health.
Either one works. Either one. Oh. Yeah, there you go.
So for the Audrain County Commission, we need a motion to go into open session.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the vote.
Commissioner Graham.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Winders.
Aye. We're in open session.
For the Audrain County Health Unit, do I have a motion to call our session in order? So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
We're all good?
We're good?
We're good.
All righty. And why we have this big array of people, we have a presentation. Do you need to say anything?
Here.
Do you want to
I'll
take
do
this?
the introduction.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. As most people will know in this room, it was 1 year ago, we signed a letter of intent with Boone Health to begin exclusive negotiations and begin our due diligence with the idea of building a new critical access hospital here in Mexico. Well, a year's passed, everybody wants to know what's going on. But the landscape has changed a lot in the healthcare business, in the industry in the last year, and which has slowed our progress. But this evening, we do have Brady Dubois, CEO, President of Boone Health, to share with us where our status is and how we're progressing. And we'll give an opportunity for the boards to ask some questions when he's done. But otherwise, I'm going to turn it over to Brady. And we thank you for being here. And he's had a full day already. He started this morning with a lot of meetings. And we are thankful for his time. And we'll let you give us an update.
Yeah, well, thanks, Bruce, and I appreciate everybody and the opportunity to be able to share a little bit about where we're at and where we're going. But first off, I just want to give thanks for all the hospitality, here in Mexico and Audrain County. We got to meet with a lot of great folks that are part of the Community Hospital Study Group. We got to meet with the Chamber Board. We had a legislative meeting with some of our local legislators that was very productive. With media time, and then now we're here to be able to give a little bit of update as well. And Bruce alluded to a little bit of what's happening in healthcare. It is not for the faint of heart. If you've followed any of the recent federal legislation that is now coming down the pipe to be implemented by state legislation, and really the challenges that pose isn't just the proposed budget deficit of, depending on who you talk to, $1.4 billion to $1.7 billion a year that the state's going to have to close. Because no other industry outside of healthcare that I'm aware of taxes itself to then send money to the state to send money out for federal match, and that's going to be impacted as well as just the overall cuts in funding for Medicaid, period. And so different programs are impacted, identified and all that, but the unknowns are when you have a budget deficit, what are your options? How are you going to close that? Because just like our own homes, nobody runs a budget deficit. At least try not to. My girls in college, we'll see, but we're trying to teach them not to run a budget deficit. All that said is what we were looking at and where we got to prior to the last probably 4 months, we felt we were in a really good place from knowing the variables to where we were looking at, okay, now that we know this, here's how we get to this stage, and we're getting ready to really go into in-depth planning. Because those were knowns. So we had reports from our consultants and whatnot that demonstrated the viability and the different things. We're still engaged with the consultant and the different folks that we're going to need to be able to prove out a pro forma. But there's so many variables right now that are in the realm of the unknown because there is a significant change in the healthcare landscape. So just as an example of why for this particular project and many other projects in healthcare it's so key, Audrain County has 27% of its citizens, according to Washington University Public Health that just released a report, that are currently enrolled in Medicaid. So of those 27% of the population, how many are going to still be on Medicaid rolls where there's some kind of a payer source? How many are going to roll off those rolls and become self-pay? Because that changes dynamics. Now, Medicaid is not a positive margin payer for anything in healthcare. Typically, it covers about 85% of the total cost of care, but at least it's something. Whereas self-pay, you're looking at 3 to 5% of the total cost of care. And so what's that shift going to look like? How's that going to impact here? Also dealing with potential impact from ACA plans that go from commercially insured rates to self-pay if they don't pay the higher premiums that are being looked at. And all those are hot topics that we avoid like the plague at Boone. But we're just trying to figure out what that future landscape is going to look like to add the variables into that components. And that's where the legislative conversation was actually quite productive, so that we get some assistance that adds the clarity as to how healthcare is going to be funded in the state, that we get an inside look to where we can add those variables into our financial modeling to where we can go forward on. And so, but when we look at where things are, for the state's impact being between 1.4 and 1.7 billion per year, the overall state of Missouri last year spent $15.8 billion on Medicaid. A lot of that was drawn down from the FRA tax that hospitals tax themselves, sent to Jeff City to then go up for federal match and come back down. That percentage, by legislation, is going to come down. Over the years, it's going to come down from where we're at 5.6 all the way down to 3.5. And so that could be, $900 million over the 10 years of the look, So there's a lot that's going on that piece. And then the other part is trying to figure out what is our total cost, not just for construction, because construction is one thing, right? That's a lot of variables going on right now with tariffs and the cost of steel and cost of glass and cost of everything else. It's more of, okay, 5 years from now, what's the reimbursement going to be for healthcare services provided, and what's the cost of pharmaceuticals? What's the cost of equipment? Good, bad, or indifferent, you cannot just pick up a pharmaceutical plant and plop it in Indiana and start producing drugs overnight. It doesn't happen. There are some drugs, unfortunately, it's just the way that it worked out, are almost exclusively manufactured in other countries that have as low as a 15% tariff or as high as a 100% tariff. There are no other similar drugs. You either have that drug, and it's the right drug for the patient, but there's nothing else on the market that can do the same thing. So when we start looking at all the different financial variables and the unknowns with what's going on, we're just trying to nail down the unknown variables to build into the pro forma that's already been built, and then we're going to be ready to go. And so that's the big piece, is there is a lot of unknowns. We didn't create. We have no position on them. We're just trying to figure out what's the next step and how does future healthcare respond to that. The one thing that I've told every group that we met with, we're confident, not just here in the state of Missouri, but overall, we got some really, really bright folks that are going to bring to table innovation. We're going to figure things out. It'll be bumpy. It will be bumpy, but we're going to figure it out, and we're going to end up with still a great health system, not just Boone, but overall, when I say health systems, U.S.-wide. But there's a lot of variables that are in the mix right now that nobody really knows how that's fully going to be adjudicated out. And so, with that said, a couple of things that that we're looking at our partners on the legislative front, is help get some clarity. Because what we hear is, hey, we can't raise taxes in Missouri. Okay, well, if you know you're going to get a funding deficit, so how are you going to make that? Because something's got to give. You can't run a deficit forever, right? And so, depending on how that's approached, will help us finish out our pro forma and our financial diligence. The reason why we're here today is because we believe Mexico is a great city. Audrain's a great county. The economic development that has occurred here in Audrain County and the city of Mexico without a hospital has been remarkable. Really strong work. You got a great chamber, you got great folks at all different levels throughout city government, making things attractive to bring in new enterprises that we want to service. We want to be their healthcare provider, and we think that there's going to be a better lift once we have a hospital here to attract more commercial business. Because whether we want to acknowledge it or not, the safety net for the whole healthcare system is employer-based insurance. It's not socialized medicine, but without employer-based insurance, we would have no health systems across America. That is the backbone for our industry. It's all on the employers, but they can't afford big spikes and increases in what they have to pay for health care. So there's going to be a balancing act, and just trying to gain a little bit of clarity on that will be important. But as we look at where we're at today, with all the different changes and the vacillation, so we order a piece of equipment 6 months ago, it was at X price. It gets delivered because it takes 6 months to get manufactured and shipped. It's now X price plus 15%. And when your piece of equipment's $2 million, well, that's a real number. And now you're fighting with them over who's going to pay that. And you split the baby in the middle. It's kind of how that worked out. But, it gets challenging. And so what we want to make sure that everyone understands is that with the data that we had, we were really excited about how quickly we could come to market and be able to turn dirt, make things happen. The landscape changed. It changed dramatically. I mean, we're talking about, just for Missouri, between $15 and $17 billion impact over a 10-year period. That's going to impact us all, especially when you have a community that's 27% Medicaid. Not just the construction piece, but that long-term, what services are we going to have to bring in? What are those other things that we're going to have to be able to make this cash flow? Is part of the unknown variables that are in the mix right now, and that there's a lot of work ongoing. We meet with this team weekly, every Tuesday at 12:30, kind of working through next steps, next issues. What did we hear from this? What are the options? We took a little information from Bethany, Missouri, and so in conversation with their CEO and how their construction costs exploded because of what they got hit with on tariffs. And when you thought your $63 million project ended up being closer to 80, that was not good, and they're trying to work through that, but what choice do they have? They're already there. And so, and that's a city-owned facility out there that's working through that. Really well-intentioned and all that, but that is a big difference, and that's just tariff-related. And now you start looking at patient population, where's this going to all work out? Because when you go to finance any project, every bank worth their cents is going to ask for really robust pro forma, and it's not going to be just from me. It's going to be from one of the most reputable, health consulting groups in America. That's how you get your funding. That's how you're able to march forward. And so part of our dialogue with our legislative folks is just help us understand where you think the state's going to go, because the feds have already spoken. So how's the state going to balance this future deficit to where we know programmatically, and to be able to build that in, where do we need to go to be able to make all this work? But we're excited about being here, excited about the opportunity. We just got a lot of unknowns right now that we got to get answered. But we believe the people here in Audrain County and the City of Mexico are some of the best people in Missouri, and we want to be their healthcare provider, and we want to work through this. And so, as we look at opportunities, right now, if you do traditional construction, you're looking at $80 million. There's some other projects that we're seeing how Intermountain Health is addressing some of their needs to place hospitals in other parts of Utah and Colorado that may bring that cost all the way down to $40 million all in. And so that's a big difference in what that yearly, note's going to be to cover that. So there's all levels of diligence going on, not just from upfront costs, but also multi-year cash flow projections, and just trying to figure all that out. I will say that it is nice knowing where we want to be, which is where the old hospital was, especially if there's a way to partner, and look at how we can develop a nice campus there between, for us and the healthcare field. We want public safety close by. It helps us, and it helps deter behaviors. So we probably have the waiting room windows looking straight out at public health or public safety if it's there. Just presence matters. But just working through the campus map, we had already worked out the campus map layouts and all of that, and then we had a pretty seismic shift. So now we just got to continue our diligence, but we will figure it out. We just need to know what those variables are. And so, excited about being here, being able to answer questions, some things that we want to head off. As we look at our own situation at Boone Health and our search for a strategic partner, hopefully you've heard about that. Part of that is because of our growth trajectory that we've experienced over the last several years. When we take a look at our admissions, they're up 19%. Our ER visits are up 39%, GI lab 38%. I mean, it's busy, and we're needing to expand more rapidly, and that's why we're seeking our own strategic partner. But in all of our discussions, we've limited it down to 3 finalists, but all of our discussions, this project's forefront in those discussions, as well as where we will see future growth for our organization. And so we'll say that all 3 organizations have vast experience with critical access hospitals as well. They're fans of them. Some of them are even helping us look at what do they know and what are they hearing, throughout, and to help us try and build that model out. But we're excited about our process and what that can mean for speed to market to bring different things. But I want to make sure that I allow time to answer any questions that anybody may have. And so I'll stand by to receive whatever questions you may have.
Will that hospital be open by January 1st here in Mexico?
That would be a negative. And what I can say from a timeline is, from a breaking ground to move in, some of the project designs that we're exploring right now have a 24-month guarantee completion time. Others have a 30 to 35-month completion time, and so depending on the construction. And so that's from breaking ground. Now there's regulatory approval and all that stuff ahead of time, CONs, but we can work through those pretty quick. But just so you know, from a timeline, right now with all the craziness, I can say I know the construction time is going to be this. Now it's that lead-up time that we're trying to address.
What can you tell us, or can you tell us any more? You mentioned strategic partner. Can you give us any update on that, or are you pretty limited about what you can say?
Well, we have really tight non-disclosure agreements on those, and but I will say that all 3 organizations have tremendous national reputations. Missouri reputations for two of them, and they really value the individual patient, which is why for us it's not just what do they bring to bear from technology and resources and whatnot, it's do they fit culturally? Do they value every individual patient like we value? And the answer across the board is these three are stellar organizations. We could not handpick three better organizations to deal with, and those are our finalists. And then we're working through diligence where they're having on-site visits. We've got reverse visits coming up. But by November 24th, we're going to decide as to who our partner is going to be. And that's at our board meeting in November. We'll make that decision, and we'll probably make a public announcement sometime early December for that piece. And then we work towards getting to definitive agreement and all of that, probably by end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter in '26. But that process does not touch our process that we're working on today, getting the diligence done, because we're not slowing anything. It's all full bore ahead, but it's trying to figure out what are those variables, because we knew what they used to be. We just don't know what they're going to be going forward. But yeah, all of the organizations are really, really strong organizations. I will say that none of those organizations have ever been in Audrain County. I can tell you that. They'll all be new to Audrain County.
And are you looking for a larger partner or equal size, or?
No, they're all substantially larger than Boone.
Larger than Boone.
Substantially.
A bigger partner.
Like 15-fold more.
And of those three, do any of them have critical access in
All three.
Missouri?
Two of the three, yes. Yep. And so really great companies across the board. National reputations for quality, patient service, and more importantly for me, centralized shared services. What I'm having to pay for IT and what I'm having to pay for RevCycle and things like that compared to a shared service system, it could be multi-millions per year when you get into scale. So we're pretty excited about this process.
You mentioned Colorado, their build was a lot cheaper. And
Well, they haven't built it yet. They're working through that. So they're going through all their negotiations with this company, and part of that is the turnkey design of it, coming in, and so we've had great dialogue with them. And as they're marching through that process, they're sharing information back with us, but they haven't actually opened one. But the company that they're looking to do business with has some that we're trying to get time to go up and visit and take a look at build quality, look at the different things that, I've built a couple of hospitals in my career, and there's certain things that you really want to pay close attention to, and it'll give us a good idea. But that would be the fastest to market at the lowest entry costs. Because the key thing is ER, ORs, and inpatient units and diagnostics. And so they still have full diagnostics, full ER, full ORs, because we want to bring as many local surgeries and keep those local as possible. Same thing with the diagnostics. No one should have to go to Columbia to get an MRI. Much less saving money on ambulances traveling back and forth. And so we think that, time saved is really critical. And all of them actually have telemedicine capabilities where from the ER, you can run different diagnostics to rule out a true heart attack by the CT scan that you perform, compared to, okay, you got chest pain, you got to go to Boone, or you got to go somewhere. You can run that diagnostic and have that answer within 2 or 3 minutes. And then you'll know, do you send them home, or do you, expedite, getting them in? And so there's a lot of improvements that are coming down the pipe and the way healthcare is delivered, but at the end of the day, only humans heal humans. And so technology is only going to take you so far, but it is a patient-centric, caregiver-centric platform that part's never going to change. Other questions?
So Brady, have you had any, I should say it that way, I know there's been a lot of investment in the community. Are there any other things that you're working on to help healthcare in Hardin County that is not truly associated with the hospital provider?
Yeah, no, we're very excited. We have another advanced practice provider that's started here. We're recruiting more to where we can get to 7-day-a-week coverage, at our clinic. That's a goal that we have. And thrilled that we were able to recruit Dr. Cherry. He's a family practice physician, 8 years in the Air Force active duty. His family, lives in Navaz. So he lives in Navaz now, and he works here in Mexico. We want to hire people and surround this community with healthcare providers from the community or who want to live and be embedded in the community. Just like people don't want to travel to Columbia to receive services, we have members of our workforce that, Alan asked me about, hey, when are we going? Bruce asked me about when we're going. My own workforce is asking me, hey, when can I go home and work in Mexico? And so we want to hire healthcare providers that live in Aldrin County or very close by and have them help build our future model, because then you're going to have sustainability. People that live 45 minutes away, 50 minutes away, and commute every day, as soon as they can find a job that they don't have to commute, they're going to be gone. Having folks that live within a 5-mile drive, you're much more likely to keep them. And that's the name of the game in healthcare is workforce. We got to do a lot of work with healthcare workforce development. COVID took out a whole section of people that just retired outside of their normal schedule, just saying, I'm done. And so when our challenge is still trying to backfill that. But we're continually working through building out our existing platform, because that's just going to help us when the hospital opens, be able to feed it.
Brady, I think at every meeting, someone asked what can we do to help, or assured you that the community was here to help. Are there things that the community, I guess I'm going to ask two questions. Are there things the community should be doing or can be doing? Things that any of our organizations can be doing? I think I know the answer to this based on the fact that we talk all the time.
Yeah.
The second question is, what would you want the average citizen who isn't waist deep in this all the time to know about Boone's commitment to Mexico and Aldrin County?
Yeah, I'll start off first off, we're still very excited. We want to be here. We're excited about what the potential, the economic development growth is remarkable. Great schools, great workforce. We have good opportunity for economic development, which is the health of the community. We think it's going to be a thriving community for years to come. We want to be a part of that. We want to be embedded in that. The other part is that I'm not sure we're at a place yet to where we know what to actually ask our state legislators, because how they define how they're going to bridge this gap could make tremendous impact. Now, we talk about hospitals and we talk about providers and things like that, Medicare cuts to hospitals. One of the things we really emphasized with our legislative bodies, they have to protect our nursing homes. They have to protect our skilled nursing facilities around us, because without those, I get clogged. If I can't discharge a patient to that next level of care, every day that they're in my hospital is $1,153 that I do not get compensated for. That's just free days. Already, the vast majority of nursing homes do not accept admissions on the weekend because they're already either underwater or at less than 1%. So they don't take admissions on Saturday or Sunday, which means that if I can't get that patient to them by 2 o'clock on Friday, I'm eating it until Monday morning. Just this past weekend, I had 10. So you look at basically $2,300 times 10, is what I had in uncompensated patient care days for people that were ready for discharge. They just couldn't get into the local nursing home because they wouldn't accept the admission over the weekend. If that resource goes away or gets contracted, then my hospital is going to fill up with folks who don't need acute hospital care. And that expenditure is going to be tremendous because you can't go to a nurse and say, hey, I know you've got 6 patients, but these 3 were ready for discharge 2 days ago, so give them a different level of care than what you're going to give these 3. You can never have that communication with a healthcare provider. If they're in there, then they're going to get the same level of care. And so it's one of those challenges that we had that conversation because if you didn't know, about 65% of nursing home residents in the state of Missouri, their care is provided by their Social Security check that they sign over to the nursing home and state Medicaid dollars. 65% of their total payment. If they lose that, or if that gets jeopardized, I'm not going to have a safe discharge, which by law, I cannot discharge a patient without a safe discharge plan. Or I get excluded from Medicare and Medicaid services, which you don't want to do. So there's a lot going on in this. Like I said, when we say things got turned over on its ear, it was pretty remarkable, and we're trying to figure out what are those variables and how's that gap going to be bridged so that we can put forward a good business plan to be able to go forward. But we're excited about being here in Audrain. We think the community itself, the caliber of folks, the ability to attract new business, I think this could be a great hub for decades and decades to come.
You're taking an entire day out of your schedule.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been
My
well
schedule's
spent.
light compared to yours, and it would be hard for me to do. So we appreciate very much that you spent the entire day here in Mexico and in Audrain, helping us understand your plans.
Yeah, well, no, we were surrounded by great folks, be able to have some enlightening conversations and listen to people and share some insights. And like I said, the whole day, everything was on point, good questions. It just shows the caliber of the people here in Audrain County. And so, yes, ma'am.
This is just more of a statement, but I'm really looking forward to a hospital here in Mexico because last summer my husband had a heart attack. And I can tell you, I drove 90 miles an hour to Columbia, not with him, I mean, he was in the ambulance. But that's a long drive over there.
I agree with you.
When you don't know. And he got excellent, excellent care at the hospital. He had to have a triple bypass between ICU and
Yeah.
the down level.
Yeah,
The
stuff
care
like
was
that.
phenomenal. I just
Yeah.
wanted to say thank you.
No, we appreciate that. And we want, part of that is with technology now, he would have stopped here. They could have done a cardiac CTA, flowed through his vessel, see where the blockage is so that the whole surgical team could be set up. And it's that advanced time, because it would only take 2 minutes. That's all it takes. It scans so fast, you can get a read that fast because you can already have them being packaged up and have the radiologist have that read to that ER physician within 3 minutes of the time the scan being done, because they just give them they just call them because there's different protocols for emergent, rule out heart attacks, rule out stroke. Those things can be done here to where if it's not, if it's just he ate too many meatballs, which happens.
My cooking.
You'd be surprised at the number of people that come in with chest pains because of meatballs or pasta that they just ate too much and they gave them heartburn and they've never had heartburn before, but guess what? You're over 50, you're going to get heartburn. And so it changes that. We love discharging those folks. Hey, congratulations, go have a good night. That technology will be here to where you can make that determination, because it'll be the exact same technology as what I have there in Boone. So,
Are there any possibilities for them to have like emergency CTO or MRIs, like mobile, along with emergent type care until we get to the hospital come around?
yeah, the challenge with that is when you look at the expense of those and the reimbursement, we get reimbursed about $75 to $125 per CT scan. and they're looking for about $6,000, $7,000 a day to be on site. The numbers are horrible on that piece. Having it built in and having it baked in, because not only, you can't just have one CT tech. You always have to have at least a couple. And that's where most imaging departments are right next to the emergency rooms for a reason. And so the staff can fetch patients back and forth real easy. I don't know unless we see some price differentials coming down on what we've been quoted, but it's going to be a challenge. And so I wish it was different. And so, but not for Emergent. Now, we're actually trying to look at numbers for, hey, if this is a once a week elective, one of the challenges that our radiologists have expressed concern about is the quality of the images that come from those mobile units compared to the units that we have, and the ability to really fly through vessels and trace a single nerve all the way through the body with our technology versus what you sometimes get in mobile units. And so there's a little bit of a difference. So, but it's not that we're not willing to explore it.
Anyone else?
I just want to say thank you again for the opportunity to be here, provide an update. Just know we continue to work every week. You know, nobody wants this project to launch more than I do, and so excited about the potential. We just got to work through this last one big beautiful bill and the future impact of the lack of beauty in it when it comes to healthcare. So.
We want to thank you, and at least I do as a council member, just for bringing us up to date on this, because day to day, people just constantly ask what's going on, what's happening, so this update's, tremendous information for us.
No, I would, I encourage folks, look at the changes in healthcare from prior to passage to post-passage, and it's remarkable.
It's been so good, could you come back about once a month maybe or something?
It's one of those things that I will make myself available at any time. Anytime any of these bodies want to get together and have discussion, I will make that a priority because we value the relationship.
I think for my people that talk to me, the most interesting thing I heard tonight is it's still a go for you all.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I always question that.
Yeah.
So to hear you say you're still in, that makes a good deal.
No, I think we would be significantly further along without our recent changes. And we'll leave it at that. But even with those changes, they're so dramatic that nobody even knows how to program them right now. But everybody's working on figuring it out. So.
But they may change next week.
Tariffs do. I can tell you that.
That's what we're referring to.
Yeah. No, it's that has been interesting to see your pharmacy bill from one month to the next month, depending on what country you're getting your drugs from and who pissed who off that day. And it's been interesting. And they're not little adjustments. They're pretty draconian adjustments. And our contracts are locked in for commercial managed care payers at least 3 years, if not 4. And for Medicare, they only update it once a year. So there is no additional reimbursement when our costs go up. I cannot change more for my hamburger because the cost of beef went up. I get reimbursed the same rate for that entire fiscal year, no matter what. It's awesome.
Even with the variance, is it a possibility that at least construction for the deconstruction of the whole place be done while you wait that way you're ready to go at the moment when it's...
Yeah, there's a lot of different thought process behind that, and there's pros and cons, and there's all kinds of different things, and I'm not willing to commit right now to what's the best path, because one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is we have everything completely squared away. Here's the plan. Here's where we go. because when you start hodgepodging too much, it sometimes can pigeonhole you into certain things. And so, but we want to be in the market as soon as possible.
Just having to sit here.
Yeah, but you know, there's some things that may be valuable in the old, and so, but you know, the main hospital is not. You know, there are other parts that look to be pretty viable and for different things, and so, but the main core 1911 need to go. The whole towers need to come down, and so, but we do feel that at the end of this project, being able to have a more vibrant central core in the city of Mexico is going to be key for future business development. And we want to be a part of that. We want to be one of the anchors for that growth.
Well, we thank you for coming in, and good luck navigating the waters. And I think that, as Councilman Miller says, you get a lot of questions, and I don't think people understand what can impact a small town, you know, even from the national level. And so we're thankful you come in and explain that, but I think all of us are educated enough to understand that it is a tough business, and especially when you're wanting to expand with unknown certainty of what's coming down the line. And so, again, we thank you for coming in and sharing your information, and of course, look forward to the future of, you know.
We do too. Yeah, it's a shared excitement for the future, and again, just thank you again for the opportunity to come in and see you all again. And anytime you want me, you've got me. So appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I need a motion for recess.
They might want to close, and then we can go to recess.
Do you want to close it?
Motion to adjourn the special meeting of the Auditor County Commission.
So moved.
Second. Motion been made and seconded. Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
Commissioner Graham.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Winters.
Aye. We're adjourned.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Thank you all for coming.
Motion to adjourn?
Can we?
You'll have to have a motion.
You just need to announce a
Yeah,
little.
we're going to have a short recess while we clear the chambers and of our special guest, and then we'll come back into session.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Too much stuff.
Good night.
Thanks for your hard work on this.
Karen, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And if it's easier just to go, we gotta stop meeting like this.
Thanks for having us.
But thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. I've been doing it now for 3.5 weeks.
How do you go down the steps on that?
Very
I just thought it was better that you hear from him instead of hear from me all the time about what we're doing, how we're doing.
Like what they said, and I really got the detail, which is fine.
Thanks, Brady. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Want to make sure you got my cell.
Okay, sure thing.
Thank you, sir.
It's good seeing you again. I hope you heal quickly.
Thank you very much.
Don't pay attention to Larry when he says it'll be an improvement.
Anything will be an improvement.
He's pretty excited about the fact that maybe some drug.
Thanks, Alan.
This is a visible show. I don't know how it's autism now. I know it's it makes your meeting all quite.
Well, that, you know, they all work, we said that they did.
I think we
Two
were all
scientists we got running these
really
departments
waiting
and know
to
what the
hear
hell they're
what
doing,
you had
right? Gee, you don't want to get these started. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See you, Alan.
Tylenol is good for dementia.
Yes, sir.
It does, it doesn't.
It does not.
Secretary Kennedy said it might.
Claimant is going to sue us because we offered her to post-delivery. So because we offered her, she
Oh, okay, no, the county person. Okay, I got it. I was trying to, she was taking their notes, and she was taking.
Unnecessary drama.
It's correct.
Yes. Starting to come into the traditional faith-based community of this. Anyway, thank you again for the opportunity.
Sure thing. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Brady.
Good evening.
All right, you too.
Bye, thank you.
Bye, we'll see you. Have a good day. Take care.
He's in court. Everybody ready to go? We're ready to go. We have to call it back to order.
Just say we're back in session.
All right, we are back in session. And so I need approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
New business ordinances, bill number 2025-66, an ordinance accepting the Transportation Alternative Program, the TAP grant from the Missouri Highway Department of Transportation. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for some additional sidewalk work along Morris Street from West Boulevard down to Lakeview Road. To cover the details of the grant, Drew Rutherford.
Oh, good evening, council. It's my pleasure to present this grant opportunity to you. This actually has a bit of a backstory to it I'd like to provide. During this summer, we had 3 interns. You may be aware of this, and those interns volunteered to put together a grant application that, because we were busy monitoring all the other construction projects around, we did not have time to do. This is the result. They put together a successful grant application that got the city a project that's worth $432,000. And so by all means, we've shared that with the interns, and we've shared that with some of the local media as well, and we're very pleased to be able to present this evening. This grant, as Bruce mentioned, will construct new sidewalks, so this is a little bit different than what we've done before, but we consider it a phased plan that will eventually bring fully ADA compliant sidewalk from the downtown all the way down to roughly the intersection of Clark and Teal Lake Road. So we'll be able to successfully connect downtown to our, what we call our commercial district in that area, all of which fully ADA compliant. We still have a couple more phases to go, but this is a big portion of it because there's no sidewalk along Morris Street at the moment. And this would officially connect, even though not all of it's ADA compliant, this would officially make that connection. This would serve the Mexico Middle School, this would serve the YMCA, this would serve Fairground Park. So all of this is, I think, a good reason of why this was a great project to move forward with. MoDOT requires that we pass an ordinance in order to commit to the process being, again, a 20% cost share of that $432,000, so roughly $86,000 being the city's share. We have budgeted sufficiently to provide for this, and it's anticipated to take 20 months to get to construction. We must have it under contract within 24 months. So with that, I'd recommend we proceed with 2 readings with title only and passage, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Go ahead.
Will there be a lane for mini bikes?
There will
little
not.
mini bikes to run up and down?
No, there'll just be a standard sidewalk.
Okay, because those are getting pretty popular.
ADA compliance has to do with fall of the sidewalk, right?
Yes.
And does it have to do with width?
It does to an extent. You have to keep it at least 4 feet wide. Unless there's an obstruction, you can go down to 3 feet. But generally speaking, you'll see most sidewalk that's ADA compliant is 4 feet wide.
Okay, all right. Well, I was just thinking if it would be like, it'd be awesome, like where they're putting the high school sidewalks, as you have like a lot of walkers there, if it was a little bit wider, but I know cost comes into to play there when you pour new concrete with that, but then you're going to the Morris side where you will have people for the Y and the probably middle school walking. And so I didn't know, like in the future, looking at which a little bit wider as you have a couple people walking down, passing each other and doing that. But I didn't know if ADA had to be compliant with that, which I'm sure there's a minimum size, as you said, so.
Yes.
But, okay.
And actually, you mentioned passing, so ADA does have criteria, put in a passing location, which is a 5x5 square every 200 feet.
Okay. Yeah.
I move for reading of bill number 2025-66.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2025-66, an ordinance accepting the Transportation Alternative Program TAP grant awarded from the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission and authorizing the city manager to sign agreement documents pertinent to this award. I move for the second reading of Bill 2025-66.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
An ordinance accepting the Transportation Alternative Program TAP grant award from the Missouri Highway and Transportation Commission and authorizing the city manager to sign agreement documents pertinent to this award. I move for passage of Bill 2025-66.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Resolutions, bill number 2025-67, a resolution authorizing city manager to sign supplemental agreement 3 with Horner and Schifrin Incorporated. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor, this deals with the Apollic Road Bridge project, and there was some additional engineering work, and to cover the details of the change order, Drew Williford.
As Bruce mentioned, this project is Pollock Road Bridge. This is done as far as construction goes, but we're still in the project closeout phase. And so with that, there's quite a bit of paperwork that goes into closing out a bridge project through a MoDOT grant. As part of the project, all civil engineering through Horner and Schifrin was procured to conduct all the construction inspection on the project. That includes administration of paperwork. So when we got into the project, we found out there was some additional paperwork that occurred, which was not anticipated, and then their estimate was back from 2023, I believe it was, and so there was some change in costs that had occurred with all civil engineering since that period of time, and so because of that, they approached with the premise of a supplemental agreement of $12,439.35 to cover the additional costs that I just mentioned there. And this is grant reimbursable. We have talked with MoDOT about it, and this would be essentially 12.3% of that would be our local match. And so the fiscal year budget does supply sufficient funding to cover the supplemental agreement 3, again, 12.3% of that 12,400 number. We would recommend proceeding to have all civil engineering underneath Horner and Schifrin continue with closeout of the project and supply all documents as MoDOT requires. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Is the hump gone?
Hump is gone.
All right. Good deal. I was going to go try to jump it before they took it out.
I move for reading of bill number 2025-67.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes. Bill number 2025-67, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign supplemental agreement 3 with Horner and Schifrin Incorporated for the replacement of Pollock Road Bridge, part of the MoDOT grant number BRO-R1191, reading by title only. I move for passage.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-68, a resolution authorizing the city of Mexico, Missouri to accept a temporary construction easement for the North Kentucky Street Stormwater Improvement Project. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, we have a couple of different projects that we need some easements on that we have received. This first resolution is with North Kentucky, and then the additional resolution is on North Calhoun Street. To cover the details of the easements requested, once again, Drew Miller.
Thank you. These easements relate to the ARPA, or the American Rescue Plan Act Stormwater Grant, which we obtained through the Department of Natural Resources. You've seen a few iterations of this already, where we have accepted multiple easements for these projects, such as Curtis Street that we were talking about earlier. This relates to North Kentucky Street. We have an additional easement that's been acquired, and then we also have a total of 5 easements which are included in this particular resolution. We've actually since acquired 2 more, so those will be on the next docket. So 5 of the 8 at this moment in time that we're recommending to accept for the North Calhoun Street project, which is just right to our east here. Again, these projects provide underground storm sewer systems, get rid of the ditches. For Calhoun Street, it will widen some of the pavement through there, make it fairly consistent. We'll end up with curb and gutter and some restored sidewalk through these projects as we were discussing earlier. So this is just simply accepting those easements, a total of 6, I believe, between the 2 projects. And we're required to pursue this portion and then provide them to our city attorney to certify as to title before DNR will allow construction on the parcels. So this would be the first step in getting, especially the North Calhoun Street project started as far as construction goes. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
What about Curtis Street? When was that completion? You probably told us before, but remind me of when Curtis Street was going to be done.
We're hoping all the concrete work is going to be done by the end of this calendar year, and then most likely the resurfacing, the asphalt resurfacing will probably be in April. But we think all that, all the storm pipe and all the concrete work will likely be done by the end of the calendar year.
Move for reading of Bill 2025-68, title only.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill 2025-68, a resolution authorizing the city of Mexico, Missouri to accept a temporary construction easement for the North Kentucky Street Stormwater Improvement Project being part of ARPA grant number DNR SW 745E73C59FEE. Move for passage of 2025-68.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller.
Yeah.
Ray.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
I move for reading of bill number 2025-69.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2025-69, a resolution authorizing city manager, Mexico, Missouri, to accept temporary construction easements for the North Calhoun Street Stormwater Improvement Project being part of ARPA grant number DNR SW 745E73C59FEE. I move for passage of bill number 2025-69.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2025-70, resolution authorizing city manager to execute an agreement with various organizations. Mr. Slagle.
Yes, Your Honor, the Tourism Commission has met and reviewed applications for funding, and they have a recommendation for you, and to cover the recommendation, Vicki Dinky.
Good evening. Again, this month, our Tourism Commission met, and they made a recommendation to approve funding for Presser Art Center for their winter production of Willy Wonka that will happen in December. The amount requested was $3,000, and they made the recommendation to fund the full amount of $3,000. So we recommend that council concur with the Tourism Commission's recommendation and proceed with reading by title only and passage of the attached resolution.
I'll move for reading of Bill 2025-70.
Haig.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Bill number 2025-70, resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with various organizations for recommended funding for the from the Mexico tourism tax. I move for passage of Bill 2025-70.
Second.
Haig.
Yes.
Ray.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
All right, other business, staff report, purchase of network servers, Administrative Service Department. Mr. Slagle?
Yes, Your Honor, this is for a network server here at City Hall. This is for replacement and all the components and necessary item that goes with it, I guess you'd say. So, once again, Vicky Dinky.
Yes, so our annual budget allows for $126,000 for purchasing and installation of various components within our network servers and other equipment. It includes virtual server systems, updates to our base on-site storage, upgrades to the server operating system, and equipment to update our email servers. And all of that is, of course, managed by Patrick, who's here with us every couple of weeks, and works in our IT department, and then works underneath us here in the Administrative Services Department. So these purchases will replace components of the current system which are beyond their useful life. Of course, all technology likes to find a way to get outdated, and then, it can't be updated, and it's all a vicious cycle. But we're at that time, so these are pieces that we've been planning for, and it's time. So we are going to do everything we can to stay ahead of the curve here. Patrick did a nice job working with Huber. They're our known IT partner. They've utilized state bid pricing through the purchasing policy that the city has that allows for that cooperative procurement through those types of state bid pricing. So all the prices listed here, those are virtual server system itself will be $24,735. The base on-site storage, which is another component of that server upgrade, $27,198.46. The installation fee for those pieces are $12,020. And then we move on to the server operating system upgrade. So that gets us into that Windows Server 2025 version of software for $20,248.40. And then installation of that is $15,097.50. And then the other piece is the email server updates. That updates the email servers that take care of all the MexicoMissouri.org email addresses, as well as the public safety domains that power their email services as well. So that would be the $25,553.12 for those email upgrades. So staff recommends that council approve the purchase of our network equipment, software, and installation pricing as proposed by Huber and Associates.
You mentioned that they're all beyond useful life. What's useful life?
5 years.
I'm sorry?
5 years.
5 years.
We couldn't get the Microsoft Exchange Server 2025? 2019, huh?
I know, right?
behind.
It seems like we're behind.
Man.
But that's the one that will work for us.
Oh,
Is that the newest version, Patrick?
Oh, Microsoft.
They don't, I know, they're behind.
Yeah.
Crack the whip, right?
And let's go.
Okay.
Well, look, about next year, we'll have to buy it again.
Well, hopefully not. It'll be a few years before we come back to the table, but
Are they installing that all at one time?
No, it'll be in stages.
3 different visits?
Yeah.
It'll be in stages.
yeah, it'll be in stages, and Patrick does a nice job of collaborating with them to reduce any impact to daily operation, but we'll work through it.
$36,000 on labor. That's
I know.
a bunch.
They are a very specialized industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I move we purchase a network server equipment from Huber and Associates for $124,852.48.
Second.
Haig,
Yep.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Pay the claims.
Move.
Second.
Haig,
Yes.
Miller,
Yes.
Ray,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
All right, on to comments. Council comments. Mr. Ray.
Beautiful weekend and some good games to watch. I had a question. Do we have to have a dumpster at the city ball field?
Drew, Chad, do you have one?
I think that is we're a complimentary one, because we got a couple of complimentary ones, and I know that and porta potty is complimentary. I'm pretty sure, but we can look into it.
The porta potty we pay.
But we get so many.
The dumpster, I believe, is, included in things.
I wonder if there's another spot for that. It seems to be getting a collection around it of things.
We can look into it.
Yeah.
So it's not getting dumped?
Well, I mean, there's been a mattress sitting on, queen-size mattress sitting on top of it, and I think,
Where are you gonna put it? It won't fit.
I might stop by and get it, I guess, and see if Lori likes it, but,
Oh, Logan might sell it.
but yeah, it's, I didn't know, because, most of the parks have the, the regular roll carts, and, which would keep somebody from putting such a big item in there.
Because we have one there, one at Hardin Park and one at Tehran Loop.
Yeah.
As far as the dumpster.
So just maybe if there's a better spot for it, and then roll carts over there. It's just a personal opinion. I'm not making any demands or anything, of course, but.
Sounds like it needs to be dumped or something needs to happen, no matter what.
And, the stuff around it picked up, but I just thought it was a little overkill for as little use as the park itself gets, out of season and that sort of thing especially, but. Yeah, thank you, Chad. You're welcome. Very much.
Mrs. Briggs?
Well, not too much, but it is parent weekend at MMA.
All right.
And so we'll be having a lot of people coming into town, and if you see them, you might say hi. A lot of international people come, and it's kind of interesting to do parent-teacher conferences, people in Thailand, but that's what I have. Oh, no, give me. Vietnam and Mexico, both those countries this time around. So anyway, be looking for them and say hi.
Good. Mr. Miller?
Nothing much other than the walk back in time was pretty exciting. A lot of people there. Busy. And if you don't have anything to do in the afternoons, you come over and have dumpster duty with us. We're always looking for help. Get to pick up the trash cans and take it to the dumpsters.
For what? Where?
Walk back in time.
It's over.
Well, I'm just saying next year. You sign up.
I'll be over tomorrow.
Next year on Sunday afternoon.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you gotta send out, you gotta get something out there. You're a month late. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Okay. Mr. Weber?
I was going to mention the same thing. We haven't had a meeting since the walk back, and a lot of folks and good weather, and good to see. And I asked Coach earlier who his next victim was going to be. He explained it's going to be Moberly. So, had a good season, Coach.
Well, thank you. Mr. Slagle?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
I concur with walk back in time. It was beautiful weather, and it's amazing. I was amazed that you don't get into that to do that for one weekend, so those people have to do that a lot, so that's pretty impressive, and the amount of stuff they get together. And I heard some people talking about weapons and stuff from World War I, and although that's interesting to me, I don't know if I want to stand around all weekend and talk about it, but they do that, and that's pretty impressive. Lakeview, how long until that thing has no water in it?
Until it has no water.
Yeah.
As soon as possible would be nice. Our pump broke, so we're unable to do any siphoning or pumping at the moment in time. Contractor's probably going to come in late November, early December to start work. It's probably low enough that they can do the work as is. So it is possible if the pump situation can't get resolved that we make that amount of water in there and just do the best we can with dredging it.
I'm in shock you didn't ask for a new pump.
That's a good idea.
So it doesn't work like in the gas tank where you go and suck on it and then it comes out
what they've been doing.
automatically? You have to have a pump?
You'd be hired to do that.
There you go. Made me think, are you and Willy Wonka? Are you the grandpa? You're not? Okay, that's not. Okay, well, I was gonna.
I wasn't Willy Wonka, but I worked out.
Oh, okay, there you go. Public comments. Anybody who wants to come up and make a statement, state your name and your address for the record, and you have 3 minutes to make your comments. Seeing nobody?
Second.
Haig?
Yes.
Miller? Gray?
Yes.
Weber?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.